All right, welcome back, everyone. I am gonna run my latest list of the gauntlet tonight, and we'll see where we go. The main goal of tonight is just to fine tune the numbers, and I lost a 5-0 last night because I punted against Moonstompy. But heading into the fifth round or fifth match, I only dropped one game. I feel pretty good about this list. This is the same list that Decent went 4-2 in his uh, challenge on Friday evening. So his feedback kind of mirrored what my gameplay from last night, and so I am pretty happy to hear that the gameplay mirrored each other. So feel good about this list. Namely, I told him or told Jacob, finish lost their winning it at Eternal Weekend. You can flip a coin between Fierce Empeth or Safekeeper, but then uh, Decent mentioned. I think he kind of likes only going down to two feed yards and keeping both. So I like that too because it keeps your tutor option open here, and then you still have 15-1 drops, which is nice. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the list. If you're interested, just ask during the stream, I guess, or afterwards on YouTube. I just want to be efficient about this so I can sleep earlier, I guess. The sideboard is just playing the two bullets for the Fleeing Phenars and then Snuff Out, I think, is a must. You're just not going to beat certain decks or have a, not beat, but have a very difficult time otherwise. Namely, the Ancient Tomb decks or the creature combo decks such as Energy. It's good in the mirror too. I like against Blue Red Delver. It's an all around good card. I think the flex spots to me are like the Bog. It doesn't seem that great right now. Force of Vigor is kind of whatever. Two, Leyline of the Void, which maybe should be a different card. But I keep losing to Oops, so that's why it's there. Maybe I should be playing just three. Everything else, I think, is like fairly explanatory, self-explanatory. I can even see going down to one Fiend Artisan. The only thing about that is then you're not as threat dense, so you're just relying on four Water Reliquary, three Natural Order, and then you have this issue where like you might have a hard time closing out games. It came up a little bit for me when I was testing Deep Cavern Bat. Ooh, they're playing. They're on their 4-0 match. Looks like lands. I think it makes sense to play this out here. The Thoughtseize is rather bad here. We're just hoping they whiff, right? We'll see how this goes. Two exploration. Hopefully no loam effect. Looks like they have non-lands in hand. Echoing Deeps. Interesting. Sphere. All right. Ooh. We don't want to get wasted here. We like natural order here doesn't really do anything. I feel. Let me think about this. I think I just want the. My opponent typed something earlier. I don't know what he's saying. There's arguments to be made to ramp here into natural order, but two things: we're not guaranteed to draw land, and Atrax is already in our hands. Kind of. They mentioned they played against three Cradles in a row already, so they beat twice. I guess not surprisingly. Well, I guess a little bit surprisingly. Why the Reliquary lines up well against lands? Do they needle my Verdant Catacombs? No, they don't. Sure. Tabernacle. Sure. That is going to be quite annoying. I think I want to just draw land drops, so I probably lost this game to be honest. There's too many spheres down. We're on the draw. Yeah, they're gonna waste this here, and then not much. I think we can do given the two spheres. Yeah, bash. I think this game is lost, like I said, because of play draw. But and like I don't know what outs we have really. We're like locked under this, and they're eventually gonna probably draw loam or combo us. The minute they had draw loam or they draw like crop rotation, we're probably just gonna lose. That's game. I don't think we're beating this. Not under a sphere lock, and they have loam exploration going. I think in the interest of time, let's take one more draw. Okay, let's just concede. I don't think we're beating this. Pretty good there. Yeah, I don't. Kudos for our opponent. I think they played. This is their third. This is their third Cradle match in a row. So they probably like got a good warm up to what how to play the matchup, which is good for them, bad for us. Then we can cut the fears end bit. Like I think we want Hogak naturally. Look at the wrong sideboard map because I was on a different computer earlier today. Let's make sure this is correct. All right, let's see how we go post play. Seems reasonable. I just want to like The problem with these kind of prison decks is like we're really at the mercy of our opponents when we're on the draw. Um, that's part of the game, unfortunately. But I think we want to lead with the hierarchs because in case they have like removal, we don't want them to hit our birds because our birds is going to be relevant for block mirror lage potentially. Now, actually, I take that back. They're a sphere deck, so maybe we're supposed to leave the birds too. So actually, in hindsight, I regret doing that, especially since we have two birds. Hopefully, that doesn't punish us. I might live to regret not playing that turn one birds. After I, just talk myself through it. And actually, because Sphere won them game one, I think they are more likely to keep it into. That is a problem. Hmm. I think we just like spam the board to be honest. Okay. So the funny thing here is we can get extra two damage in, and we have no clock, so I think we just want. There's no. We're not really rewarded. I think for. I don't believe right now we're rewarded for playing the burst. So we might as well get the two damage in. The cage is a problem. We probably should have kept the fierce empath potentially in the or Phenars, which is kind of bad in this matchup. But I'm not sure it matters really. I'm just gonna vomit hand because I think there's like I guess we can like technically hardcast the tracks that we draw next turn. That would be ironically enough a good draw or very good draw. Normally not a good draw, but in this case it would be given the three birds of paradise. I haven't been tracking what did in return. Let's see. Return wasteland. That doesn't do anything here. The mill, Yamamaya, Rumble. Oh, now we're in trouble because of the exploration. I think we're probably just dead here. I think we need an endurance now before things get really bad. The reclaimer is really not going to be active for a while. The reclaimer is not going to be active for a while. It feels bad, but we got to do it. Otherwise, like they're just going to draw too much of their deck. Arguments to be made. We're supposed to like maybe do it on draw step in case they fetch there. Oh my god, we're gonna get punished. Well, that's not true. Well, we kind of actually that's not true. We had to hit it before the loam. So, oh my god, this is bad. This is bad for us. I think we're just. I think the cage sealed the deal for us this game, or sealed our fate. It is what it is. I think we're beating this. There's no way I believe they're. Oh, they have a sword. It's pretty bad. I'm almost certain I'm dead here. We have these cages that are stranded by. Sorry, not cages. These green suns are stranded by a cage. There's an argument to be made that I'm supposed to. There's an argument to be made that I'm supposed to keep in Fierce Empeth for another clock, but that would be over Fiend Artisan. So I don't. We didn't draw the Fiend Artisan anyway, so it doesn't matter. But we're pretty at SOL here. Their draws were kind of like insane against us though, but we are a little bit susceptible to getting cheesed. So take that for what you will. Oh, no, that's bad. What the heck is going on? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, we're gonna lose anyways. But it's the it's weird that it sacked the thing. We missed some attacks here too. What the heck is going on? Like, I paid for four of them. Did I not? Like, I thought I paid, but maybe not. I don't know. Although, I mean, the blast gun just like is gonna wrap things up. And they have loam, right? So I don't know how we're getting out of this. I mean, it eats their Grafdigger's key, I guess. They can like pseudo combo us in here. I mean, they are going off already with Explorer. Where's their single Dark Depths? They just boarded out. They're like halfway through their deck without it. They probably did because they know we have Talon Gates, or at least it's consideration. I don't know. They're gonna blow up our board. Echoing Deeps and Beseju. Is there any reason? Hmm. Rock enough. Well, they might do Dark Depths the hard way. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like they boarded out the stage, or like down to like one or something. It's the vibes I'm getting, and they just want to play like hard control against us, which I'm all for. Dedicated game plans. There's a stage. All right, now we're just Might be time. It might. I might. This might be the witching hour here. Because I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. Well, the good thing is that if I ever play this person again, I kind of know how they sideboarded now. I believe they kept one of each and a. Oh, I forgot that does that. Yeah, I should not play the bio. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just dead. They're just keeping me off on, keeping me stuck at 2 mana. Valid. Yeah, they seem to know their role very well. They're playing very conservatively, which I don't blame them. Like they have the game locked up. There's no reason to lose a game that they shouldn't. More power to them. That was pretty brutal. It kind of felt like we were never really in either of those games, which actually brings up one good point. Maybe that means we need to play Force of Vigor. This is a mulligan. Or higher copy. I appreciate the kind words. I wish it were that way, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think I would want the Arbor here. To their credit, I will. Our opponent played very well. I will say that. Here I can get punished to be honest, but no, I don't think I think you played very well, Pedro. I don't you don't need to be sorry. I think you played very well. Well, that is quite annoying. I think we take the force here. Well, ugh, that's super annoying. I think they have to. Yeah, that's quite annoying though. Yeah, I'm not playing Mole. I don't think Mole would have changed any of those games for what it's worth. I felt like I was getting just cheesed out of the game, but that is a weakness of any variant of Cradle, getting cheesed out of the game. Like those spheres. Once you had the spheres and I was on the draw, just not much I could do there. Okay, speaking of getting cheesed out of the game, it looks like it's happening again. Hmm. So the funny thing about this is, if I play the Fierce Empath here, that gets me to just short. I can't afford, I think, to get this dazed, but that's okay. There's no use attacking here. Also, if I draw a fetch, it's like kind of nice. Or any creature, I guess. All right, they're gonna help my gag situation. Oh, awesome! Wow, thank you for the subs, Pedro. Wow, that is a very generous sub there. I'm glad I said like for what it's worth, I was very complimentary of your play there. I think you played very well against me. So um, my opponent is on one card, and I think that is maybe a Doomsday. So I think here, how do I lose? We have a threat. I think we want to just shut off the clue token. Actually, I don't even have the collective, so I think really just the white then. Play around the days. So now Doomsday, unless they do it the same turn, is dead. Thank you for the sub again. Wow, this is a great day. Thank you for the raid, Everin. Appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream. I know, right? You're telling me to play a pre. You're telling me to play pre-modern Mario. So they're probably gonna lose their Tamiya there. Oh, jeez. That I'm not sure if who's having more fun there, you or your opponents. Probably you. Um. So thing is, I don't have Bog in my deck. That is painful. So here I'm getting a +1, but then I lose a 1 to the Noble. So maybe I'm just gonna beat face, I think. What am I doing here? Ouch, sorry to hear that. I think I'm not gonna expose to them that I have like I think they're gonna have to play around endurance at least. And not play the land drop. So I have Talon Gates up. So they have to at least play around. Maybe they might not even be like they might not even they might even be priced to play into endurance because there's no other line, right? Like they can have that. That's fine. I don't have Bog, so Ironically, Bog might cost me this game because I didn't kill that the Tamio, but we'll see. I figure it's better to put my opponent on a one turn clock, but then again, they Doomsday. They have to kill the same turn, so I might just like punt it here, live and learn. We have some Doomsday players here. What do you think, Romario and Mike? Should I go life total there or take the Tamio off the board? So they go to two here, so they can't even street reach, right? You would have killed Tamio fair. Yeah, I thought about it like right now, but I just figured the damage is like I might have punted, but it's whatever. So I don't care. Yeah, in hindsight, maybe I just take the Tammy off the board. Don't give them an extra draw. Attacking, they put them on the one turn clock for what it's worth, and does shut off some of these street reef lines, right? Because they go to two. All good about the misplays, by the way. I probably would misplay a ton with high tie. That's the thing about these non-deterministic combo decks. I guess high tie is probably pretty deterministic now. I don't know. I don't. I can't remember the last time somebody whiffed against me when they had high tide and when it was like at least a couple cards in hand or whatever. Shy guy emote, nice. You're my all right. Here are my socials for those who curious. I wonder what they're playing around. Maybe they think I have like maybe they're trying to see if I have an endurance line or something. That's the other thing. Like you play online, actually even in paper, you kind of have to always change your deck because like otherwise people Google you and like know exactly what they need to play around. The best solution to that is like 15 one-ups in the sideboard. They have to play around everything, right? Or they don't have to. They can just choose what they lose to. It's the problem about playing against Doomsday pilots that are newer. They're now almost 3 minutes behind on clock. So Romario and Mike, if you guys are here, what is the line here? What is your pile that you're making? Are you respecting the last card hand? Probably not, right? I don't think you can afford to, being at two life. I think you just go for the consider line. Just try to empty your. You're playing around talent gates already, so you probably just like go all in on like LED or whatever. Right? I think the pile would be brainstorm into. Yeah, I think so. I think the pile is like you have brainstorm in hand. You have LED. You go uh, Edge of Autumn, crack LED in response. Um, get your 3 mana that way, and then that gets you how many cards left? Four. So you consider. I think you have two Edge of Autumn, and then you go like consider bin two, and then empty your library that way with LED. I think that's the line, right? Unless they don't have two Edge of Autumns in their list. I don't know. Is that stock? Do all this have two Edge of Autumn? because they can't use Street Reef. That's the thing, right? They're at 5. Maybe they. Oh, maybe they only have one Edge of Autumn, and because they can't Street Reef, they can't empty their pile. That would be funny. Because I'm trying to do. So that's the other thing about Doomsday. Like, I feel like a lot of Doomsday players have the edge against Cradle pilots because the Cradle pilot has no idea what's going on. Um, I think if you want to do better against Doomsday, the way you do better is you have to be able to reverse engineer their piles. So at least to some degree. And if you can't, you're probably gonna struggle with the matchup, especially without Force of Will. All right, there are two. Oh, one thing they could do is like play a fetch land, I guess. Actually, they can't. They already played Underground Sea, so that's off the table. So what do they have here? There's the LED. Okay, there's the Edge of Autumn. There's the Consider. That's probably next. Yeah. How many street reefs do they have? I gotta keep track of that. None. Is that accurate? Yeah, they conceded. Okay, they probably know what's up. They if I were to guess, they probably tried to go for it thinking I'm gonna concede in response to their combo. But the problem with that is if your opponent knows you can't win, then it doesn't help, right? Yeah. I That's good for sure. I try to I usually check for fours. I check for days. You threes like the stock, but sometimes they have some different number. Let's see how many they have here. One, two. I should do the scouting here, right? Three. They have three here, and then they just concede, right? Because they can't. I, the funny thing is, I think this actually won the game, or it might have been wrong, but like it did win the game there. All right, let's board out the natural orders that probably won't convert in time. The Archon is interesting. I think it's kind of bad because it's weird. I don't think we saw Street Reefs. Very odd. So Archon might be okay. I don't know. Fierce Empath feels too slow though. Boss Singsa, do we want that? Probably not. I feel in this matchup. I gotta look at my sideboard map. I don't remember what I did. I kept it in, but that doesn't feel right to me. Oh, Collector. That's right. So in the other version, looks like I boarded out Reclaimer. That seems bad. That's got to be worse than bossing. So that's not true. This doesn't do anything. Maybe the Reclaimer is just better. Fierce Empit might. Do we want the clock? Maybe not. It's Reclaimer or an Archon. I guess Reclaimer pitches the endurance. That's probably the argument for it. Actually, no. Let's change it. Nope, it's too late. I think it's fine. I'm like tempted to board out Oof because they always play around it anyways. But I guess in deck like this that doesn't have Street Reefs, maybe they're priced into going for it all more often. I don't know. I like it's kind of like when I play against Storm. I sometimes like don't leave in the graveyard hate because I expect the better Storm players to play around it anyways. Hey, Jacob, how's it going? I'm glad to see you on the list again. I'm sorry things didn't go well for you today. I'm off to a rocky start too. I'm 0-1. My first round opponent actually is in the chat here. They were generous, Pedro, enough to gift me with all these subs. So shout out to them. I think here the endurance is like premium. So let's go with that. The days, whatever. So that's I think this list just feels like the most unforgiving skill intense. That's always the way I build my decks, Jacob. Bossing Sun is like a very skill intensive card, is what I've come to realize. Let's do this. Just like flood the board, I guess. The days that I'm actually happy about it. Oh, interesting. I think I like the Reclaimer, so I'm gonna bid that. I don't know if that was intentional or not to get me off lands, but regardless whether it was or not, let me do it this way. It's a moot point now. Or yeah, I think we hide the collective. I think. Yeah, that's a one criticism of my decks from people. I always remove all the training wheels, and like, there's no margin for error, and I think a lot of people are turned off by that. So take that for what you will. Like, I don't play hoof. I don't play like some of these cards that I think when you have more reps, you can win without. I think we played the Cradle to unlock our deck, but let me see what I want to do. This 4 mana, I can go collect. Well, let me see. No pass against. Yeah, that's fair enough. I like the attitude. It wastes us here. Sure. I think I protect the Reclaimer. Sure. I guess, yeah. So they're only on one card now. I think like my chances. Hmm, okay. That's pretty annoying, but that's actually kind of funny. That is actually kind of funny. I think I main phase it here to just play around everything. I'm gonna attack and see if they block. We'll see. Okay, they did. Yeah, I'm gonna main phase. I've always been punished for trying to get people with this, and I'm just gonna pretend this is sorcery speed now because every time I try to get somebody with this, I lose. So let's just not. The problem is in a mono green deck, more or less. If you have open mana, it can only be so many things. Endurance is one of them, but like it's super telegraphed. So generally, why I don't, I always get punished whenever I try to get people with this, unless they're like really new to Legacy or whatever. But yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, they do have Bowmaster, so like we might have to attack into it to take this Tammy off the board, but we'll see. No, they're attacking, so that tells me they probably don't have it. Let's just not mess around for sure. They can have the one card, I guess. Oh, that smells like Bowmasters now. Oh, okay. That makes it easy. Let's not do that right now. They have it. They have the Bowmasters. I don't think I'm respecting it here. Kind of feels like we're pretty locked. I don't see how my opponent's winning. Like maybe like a Murktide or something. And even then, I don't think that's beating Wild Reliquary. There's probably little reason to attack with opposition agent now. Yeah, it's probably dangerous to do it before, but I got at least take this off the board before I pseudo lock it up. All right, we're back on track, 1-1. Let me use the restroom real quick. We lost the lands in the first round. For what it's worth. I'm back. I thought about. Well, I don't know about cutting. Yeah, I thought about cutting Cradle, but the problem is like 15 is kind of the bottleneck, anyways. Already, like we have 15 turn one dorks plus 15 green mana sources, so that's actually not the area where it would improve the best. Yeah, I was happy with my decision there to I was happy with my decision there to main phase the opposition agent. Like I feel like it's hard to lose if we have that resolved, and we just don't want to like f around like Romario hinted at. All right, we're on the play. One land hand. I'm gonna keep it and probably get punished. We'll see. We're gonna keep and likely get punished. I actually realized something. Um, because we only have Arbor, it's a little bit awkward. I can't even sequence Green Sun because if the only way I sequence it is if I think they're gonna counter, which I don't think they will, but they're looking good. These decks usually run back to basics. I think I'm just gonna do that. Hey, chicken, how's it going? They're probably gonna kill that. We're gonna. Our line is almost certainly gonna be white into Green Sun for one. We'll see. They're almost certainly killing this. Yep. Oh, even better. That might draw a force. Nope. Game is probably wrapped. A fair matchup with Wild Reliquary plus Sylvan Savior might be over. That might be a wrap. Although this is a little bit different because they have Stoneforge Mystic, but even then we can grind out Cauldra with bossing so with what is it called? Talon Gates. Although they sometimes have dress downs, those are like some of the outs. Let's see. What is happening here? Force of negation, perhaps? We're not respecting force because they should have forced white, but maybe they didn't think we had follow up safekeeper. Um, it's probably worth it here. Actually, oh my god, I messed up. That it doesn't work the way I think it does. So that was an f up by me. I should have attacked too. So I'm like messing up pretty royally here. Cost myself 1 point of damage, I guess. I did. I announcers jinx, right? I said the one way we lose this game is with dress down, and there it is. Sure. But we effed up that. We lost a land for no reason. Chase. Yeah. Okay. Bounce. Sure. Mr. For what lands? Question is, what am I getting? I can't get an arbor. I feel like it's still safekeeper. Because how are we losing if? Yeah, we just get another safekeeper. Actually, one way we lose is one way we lose is that I keep jinxing myself. That is one way we lose. Might be okay. We'll see. I don't think Gak. I think we just want to make sure they can't interact with us. Sure. I don't think that does anything. Th- this card here, Safekeeper, is a absolute nightmare for fair decks. Just you can't play Magic. Like so, I just felt like I couldn't, especially since I think their list has like one dress down at most, maybe like two, and one we already drew one out. Like I just felt like they can't deal with our board if we just make it so like all our cards are like true names, right? Does that make sense? Question here is how do we board? Maybe like one. Yeah, like I feel like the only way we lose is stressed out. We already baited it out. Like there should be none left in their deck, right? Like I don't know how many decks are running two dressed down, but question here is like what do we do? Black mana for back to bases is pretty nice with birds. The hierarchy is like highly relevant for damage. I think yeah, like 3 mana Gak is pretty good, like tutorable. I like it a lot. Question here is like how do we board? Um, kind of feels like we can board out a dork. I'm just not sure which one. Maybe the noble, because the black mana for back to basics is kind of relevant. Can't keep that. That's okay, I guess. F6. Gotta refill my water soon. Ideally, a one drop here is good. Did not hit it. So here's why I think I like dorks better than moles, because here a dork would be so much better, right? You can go like double spell turn two if they have if your opponent doesn't answer turn one dork. Like the low key secret to beating Cradle is you force a turn one dork. Like a lot of the ways the lists are built, they can't handle that. Jesus. Stoneforge right now would be pretty annoying for us, maybe. I think we can live with dress down is absolutely a nightmare though. We can like put that's not true. We don't have any ramp. Probably have to take the swords. Sure. Caldera. The good thing is I don't think we really care. Actually, having the Arbor gone is like super relevant here. Sure. I don't think we care. It's like the least scary of the things that we have to deal with. Oh, interesting. They're gonna allow us to dress down. The awkward part is we did not draw a land to Gak here, which is like, Jesus, how did that happen? Dazed? I'm not sure I understand what you're going for. It's really awkward. We didn't draw lands. I mean, creatures. That's kind of nice. So they walked into that. This. It was telegraphed for what it's worth. The problem is we're on a one turn clock now. Maybe they dress down here. I mean, we still do it, but like, we need to gain life. We have no choice here. We can't. The problem is we have to block the cauldron. Yeah, that's the problem. Like this doesn't matter until it does, and now it does. If we were at like we could take one more attack, then I don't know, kind of out of our hands. So we just have to hope they don't have any more swords. Like they have two that are gone. If they have a snapcaster, we're just out of luck, right? Or a Teferi bounce, anything we just lose. We lose to a sneeze here. If we somehow untap, wow, okay. Are we gonna stabilize this game? So they put the Battle Skull in. They're gonna equip the thing. That's 10. It's gonna be close. I think we're gonna lose this race, sadly. They're gonna put the Battle Skull in, like go all the way, I guess, with it. Yeah, I think so too. Okay. I think we're losing this race now. Like 9 a turn is outpacing our life link. Let me think about that. Like this is very awkward. I don't think we're winning this game. As sad as that sounds. Like, what is our out here? We go that, get a fierce end, but that doesn't do anything because the life link. Okay, yeah, we're just dead. That is very awkward. All right, I think we run it back. It is what it is. I think we boarded probably correctly. This is the one of those games where like Soulforge Mystic is one of the cards that we have a problem, soft problem with because it makes it so we can't attack, which is awkward. We have one threat, but we'll see. We gotta hope that they have removal, and then allow don't force the Phenars and then play the Safekeeper. No, I don't like it in the matchup. Like usually, it doesn't. That's not what the matchup is about. I think we do that. Nice. Okay. I feel good about this game now. Obviously, they could play something weird like casting the fire or whatever, like fire magic. But we're gonna attract to them right now. They might try to source to keep us off of tracks, though, which would be heads up. I think if they do that, we're gonna get a Why the Reliquary to make up for it. So they're counting the math probably right now, right? Like that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They should go and try to swords us. That forces this. It's a force play into our safekeeper to respond and protect the Fiend Artisan. Yeah, see, it's happening now. Um, I think I do that. Okay, that's pretty good too. Are we gonna play around? The question here is: are we playing around? Actually, yeah. Are we playing around? For we're not playing around anything. That seems probably right to me. Probably the hierarchy. So we have black mana. Actually, that was a mistake. I should have pitched that and ended. That was a bad mistake. Why not both? Right, like the meme says, Romario. We can do both. Yeah. All right. That, so the reason why I didn't take white there, Romario, is because I couldn't cast it. I wanted to, essentially further my board state. One second. Oh, my dog. Yeah, my dog was breathing hard. So I wanted to be able to cast everything off the Cradle mana there. Yeah, so that's kind of nice, right? Like that's your combo. So you don't really need hoof in my opinion, because a lot of times you Atraxa and then you just like yeah, historically you go Atraxa into next turn natural order hoof, but like a lot of times now you just go like Atraxa into same turn Gak or and then just like how are they gonna deal with 15 power like on board? How T3 ended up being more impressive than T2. Yeah, yeah, that is impressive for sure. Okay, so Romario, the reason why I didn't go with two whites there is because I was playing around. Potentially, it's too long, but I was playing around two Wrath of the Skies in like 2 turns. How are keeper on your list? Keeper's insane in this list. It protects your best creature, which is Why the Reliquary. It fuels and protects uh Hogak. It's a 1 drop, so it like ramps with Cradle. It kind of does everything. Two at the moment. I wouldn't go to three personally. I think because you don't really want to draw two. I think we want ramp here. A do nothing card against us. Ugh. That's quite annoying. I think we need to Thoughtseize their Thoughtseize. And then I think we need to Thoughtseize their Thoughtseize. That's quite annoying. Because we have to protect this natural order. I think moles are kind of overrated personally. Take their Thoughtseize. Ramp. If they want to daze us, it has the same effect. So they're gonna probably search for force. Our hand is like can only play one way in my opinion. Like we have to, we're priced into natural order next turn. It's telegraphed what we have for what it's worth, but there's like no play around it. Another line is if they see a ponder, they might ponder try to find the force. Ooh, that's annoying. So they have the days for the natural order here, so we don't want to run that in. Like, I think they keep the days, but I could be wrong. I don't know. The fact that it's known, like I don't think I'm supposed to run into days here. Sure. Ooh, that's a problem. We can't block. Not the card I wanted to see. We're punished here for we're essentially punished here for not playing the Cradle last turn. We're short of mana. I think we lost actually. Yeah. Yeah, that is so lesson learned, right? Like if I play the Cradle here and then I play the Arbor, then I would have an extra mana to pay for the days and then play another creature. Now we just lost. So that's on me. Right? Like they're gonna pitch and then we can't block now, we're at 9. Like small misplay and then we drew the Arbor, which is the punish, right? It could have got wasted, but any of our other lands could have got wasted. All right, that's on me. Maybe they had the waste anyways, but I don't think I can play around waste there anyways. My logic was like I could. That was bad. All right, that's on me. That is on me. I don't think I changed anything. We'll run it back. There's nothing good in the sideboard against it. I mean, yes and no. It didn't really do anything. Like to be honest, right? Like our hand was just a little awkward. This is like kind of dicey. Like we're all in on the Wily Reliquary here, and this is the problem with running two safekeepers. I feel like this is if they don't answer our turn one higher. I feel like this is a mulligan. This is worse, unfortunately. Well, what can you do? We threw that game there because we didn't play the Cradle. I think we priced into keeping this, but I don't love it. Not a bad draw. So, cause like I said, our previous line was like all in on Safekeeper plus Wild Reliquary, and if they thought seize us, we lose. If they force the Wild Reliquary, we lose. If we don't draw a second land, we lose. Like there's just a lot that can go wrong there. If they fatal push the birds, we can't even cast the white next turn anyways. So just I feel like a lot can go wrong with that hand. Force into Baragoy. Just take the force. They're gonna probably dig for a Thoughtseize. If we draw a land off the top, I think we're slamming it. That's pretty good. We'll bash first. Jesus. Okay. Mm, I think we play the Phenars the next turn. There's no reason to run into a Bowmasters or something here for 1 point of damage. I don't think they have it, but it's just not worth it. If for some reason they do. They would probably just main phase it too, to be honest. Ooh, Nethergoyf? That looks. I'm surprised they kept that in. It's like so bad. Unless they think we're. Unless they know we're not keeping in endurance, which is fair. I think we're gonna play around double days here. Like I'm trying to think of like ways we lose. Well, so any relevant creature or fetch land is gonna be live here. This is like a blank against us. I'm surprised they kept that in. It's like God. It's awful. They can attack, I guess, but like it's very bad in my opinion. They let that resolve, which is interesting. That might be game. I don't see how they're beating this, especially with safekeeper. That, like it has to be like deluge right now. And they don't have it. If they had it, they would have done it already. I think we bash and see what they do. Deluge for two, that doesn't matter. I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, this game because you can't deluge anymore, right? You, game number three. Gak was pretty good there. Nah, I think Nethergore is like awful against us. I'm surprised they're queuing it in. I don't even care. I think like it didn't do anything that game, right? No, I think Decay is like not good personally. Like I don't want to spend 2 mana on a removal spell. Like I'm all about no training wheels. I think Decay is just like it makes you feel good because you think you have an out. I'd rather just play proactive cards that kind of address what you want to do. So, for instance, if you're scared of Cage, you can just play threats that are like a little bit more resilient against Cage. Is what I mean, or whatever, or Bargoyf. You can just play Gak, right? Like, I would much rather play threats that beat your hate naturally, if that makes sense. Gak is like kind of. Actually, I can't get Gak. Well, it makes the Fierce Enthet bad, but like, I think I just want to hit land drops. It kind of feels like the problem with Gak is it makes that card bad. So let's do this. Let's get the Cradle. very awkward line that just came up right now. There's an argument to be made for us that this should just be the third GAC. I am not sure what is correct. Like the tutor is nice. I don't know. I gotta see how often I tutor for it. It was more often like a couple weeks ago. Probably less so now. Sure. That's another reason why not to. You can waste me anyways. So I think I'm getting a the buy here because they can waste me regardless. Sure. They probably take the green sun. The Fierce Anthem represents the gag, which they have a force. And then we're in the top deck war where we're staring down like maybe 5 or 6 damage a turn. So we're gonna take at least 5 here, I think. Safekeeper, that's interesting. See, my logic here is like if they waste my arbor, they can like push my noble. It's kind of the same thing. If they have back-to-back wastelands, then it's bad. But I'm not gonna play around that. I'm not gonna play around 2 cards. What do we do here? I think I played through days here, and get a Sylvan Safekeeper. They can only attack with one creature here. They'll attack with the Moon Shadow, go to 7. I don't think they can kill us. Okay. Sure. Question here is what? Probably the Empith, I would guess. We're gonna bash first and just see what they do. probably block. I would imagine. Nope, they don't block. So they can't sweep anymore. Just get a while look where it's just bigger. This game, I think, yeah. All right, we just picked them apart here, and this player is pretty good too. So for whoever is struggling against the Demir matchup, like we should have really won all three games. It was kind of, and our opponent I know is really good. I don't know how to pronounce this, but I usually just YUKKE. Which it was a clinic. The last two games. All right, one more match. So for whoever says they're struggling with against the mirror match, we boarded 0 cards, and we should have really on all three games. I punted game one, but just putting on a clinic there, like, we'll be back. Good question, Pedro. I've thought about the one, like, only because there's been some situations where like I need to rebuy a talent gates like immediately. Or there's been a situation where like I have a Fiend Artisan and a Green Sun, and then I can like have the mana to like attract it. But I feel like those are like corner cases, and for the most part, when your opponent interacts with you, Mole is so much worse than like Dork. Like part of the reason why I won that game three, even through Snuff Out on turn one, or whatever it was, game two, game three, whatever it was, the game that they had Snuff Out, is because I was able to turn two double spell regardless of what they do, and then turn three triple spell or whatever it came out to be. Like Mole, in my opinion, is better game. Definitely better than Mirror. There's no question about that. At least game one. And a lot of time game one will be better against combo because you're not interacting. But I think the card is worse than Dork games two and three, and by especially in interactive matchups by kind of a wide margin. So it depends. If you want to be better game one, it's probably better game one. But I would rather be better games two and three personally because that's represents twice as many games. Question here is like, do I keep? Probably not. The problem is like if they answer my turn one play, I probably lose. Keep. Probably not the reclaimer to be honest. This hand is very like all in on turn one. I was gonna say it. Reclaimer is kind of a slow card. I get a little bit punished here, but I feel like the upside of them going like so the punish here is they have remove on door. Same thing, right? They don't. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So normal sequencing is actually you go Rado the Reliquary. If they have removal, they let it go because they figure they just remove it, and then you go Safekeeper. Because we have two Wild Reliquaries here, I think I want to go Safekeeper first because I think they let that go and then they forced the payoff, right? Except we had multiple payoffs, so that's the logic. Uh, if they're on fair deck, I think the game's over. That's how good I think Wild Reliquary is. I don't doesn't feel like they're on a fair deck. Oh, that's kind of confirms it. Ooh, okay. I was like, it does not feel like they are on a fair deck, so we might be in trouble here. Mm, I think we do that. We do that. I think they should be on Omni-Tell. I think we go for the fetch here because we wanted to play the white as soon as possible. Does the math matter here? Probably not yet. I don't think we want to show our hand what we can do. Sure. Something we can do about that. I think that's game. Yep, that's game. Unfortunate. We just see an Aluren? What is going on? Why is it an Aluren in this deck? Oh my god. We're playing against two card Monty. Sure. So I've always mentioned what is our weaknesses. Besides the cheese decks, another way to beat us, I guess, and it's like somewhat related to cheese decks, is the way you beat a high consistency deck is the high variance decks. I mean, I don't see how we lose. I mean, we're winning. I feel like we're dead already. Maybe they just slow rolling. Why did? Like we should be dead, right? I don't understand. They have the combo. Okay, there's what is going on. What was your one lands? Sphere lands. I got essentially nut drawn a couple times in a row. Actually, our opponent here is Pedro here. So shout out to them. They played very well for what's worth. I think they can kill us. Did they just not get that one creature? I guess not. Oh, okay. Now they do it. Okay. I guess they were just waiting for me to tap. I mean, we lost anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I guess that was the only hang up. Like we're gonna lose the Atraxa, so like we have no way to really beat an Atraxa. So yeah. The funny thing here is the Fierce End before Atraxa actually does something. Force of Vigor. Sylvan Savior can get out of here. Opposition Agent, maybe? How funny. This is the first time I'm playing this. I don't know what is going on here. Probably want Agent. Let me look if how my boarding is Omni-Tell. This is the first time I'm seeing this deck with like a Lurven package, which is odd, but say la vie, right? Says here I'm boarding out Reclaimer, which I guess makes sense. The clock's like super slow. Gax probably better. Like I guess to me that makes sense. Pedal. Let me see. I think we do want agent. I don't know. We want collective. That seems bad. Our game plan is probably just like get to Archon of Emeria. So question here is like, are we just mold to? I don't think we're just like mold to Thoughtseize. So we just keep this. This has like turn 2 feet on it, and turn 3 Archon of Emeria. I think the big takeaway today is like maybe we just ignore Oops all spells. Like the ley line, the void, it's just like not done anything. Like every time I cut Leyline, I play her into oops. This is precisely the matchup I want Fiend Artisan for. Oh, don't tell me they're gonna flute the. Oh my god, they're gonna flute the Artisan. Yeesh. All right, that is the thing. Again, where is that force of vigor when we need it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're one short. Oh, it would be really nice to have the Severance Priest right now, but we don't. Okay. So let me think. We have 4, 5, 6. We have exactly 7 mana. I don't think it makes sense for us to get anything else. We're probably just dead, to be honest, with that flute there. A disenchant creature would have been nice here. Ugh, okay, sure. I think we're just dead. You're gonna do on our upkeep here. So how many? How much mana is that? Five, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we thought seize them and then pray they don't have anything. Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right. This flute here kind of hurt us. And the sad part is we can't even see their hand too, so we don't know what they kept because this just like wins in response, right? Right. We'll concede. I'm not gonna make them go through it. All right. I think the lesson learned here today is like maybe we just concede the oops matchup and then worry about some of these other matchups. It felt like we definitely wanted a second force of vigor, or at least some kind of like disenchant. Maybe it doesn't matter there. Like the them having the answer for the Fiend Artisan, and we were kind of like all in on that, right? Like we were hoping they, if anything, they forced the Fiend Artisan or the Green Sun, and then we could like cast it again the next turn. But it is what it is. Let's look at the sideboard. Main deck I think felt fine. Sideboard, I think I like the Archon Mary. It would have been good if we, got our chance to fiend for it. Agent, I think it's probably fine. I don't remember if we boarded it or not. I think we did, but I could be wrong. Snuff out. I don't remember if we used it, but I think it's too good not to play. Endurance not relevant here. Yeah, probably just like free up the sideboard and just like if I lose the oops, then I lose the oops. It is what it is. All right. Anybody have any questions for me? Here are my socials again. Thank you for hanging out. Definitely felt like we wanted some kind of other disenchant effect, right? We got like hosed by the flute there. Just also in just in general, like I ran the cyborg optimization like EV calculator, and I just think like Force of Vigor is higher than Leyline the Void. If it's close, I think you run both, but I don't think it's like particularly close right now. This like only has like one matchup. Let's see who we can raid. Also, shout out to Everin for the raid earlier. But I think we set out to accomplish what we did, which is gets more data about like this main deck. I don't think I would change anything. If it felt like if you play well, you should beat Dimir. Like the we should have really won all three games, and then I punted the first one, and then games 2 and 3, like we're pretty comfortably ahead, even though we boarded 0 cards. Anybody, any questions for me? Sideboard, like I said, I think Agent is like nice to have. Actually Agent won the game against Doomsday, so I like that. Uh, Snuff out. It's good against like it's for the really the creature decks. Ironically, this is we played against a creature deck, but not really. It's kind of like Breakfast, where it's really a spell combo deck masquerading as a creature deck. Um, Bog, pretty useless, I think. I think yeah, I think if I don't care about oops, and if I don't care about let's just say cephalid breakfast, then maybe we wouldn't even need Bog because I wouldn't even board it in against. I think I'm not bringing against Demir, and I don't think I would board against blue red either. So maybe that's like three free slots there, like a force of vigor and maybe some other stuff. Anybody have any questions for me? Shout out also again to Pedro for the massive gifts sub gifts earlier. Really appreciate that. I definitely made my experience turn out a lot better. Anybody have any questions for this? Even if you're not playing this deck, like let's just say you want to hose this deck or hose a Cradle deck, I'll answer whatever needs to be answered. I guess. Going once. Actually, let's review our matchups. We lost the lands. We beat. I don't even remember what this person was on. We beat Stoneblade. We beat Dimir, and then we lost to like an Omni-Tell kind of deck. Yeah, I don't remember what the second opponent was on, but that's fine. All right, if there are no other questions, I will call it a stream. Thank you for everyone for hanging out.